All right, this is my last video from Singapore. I thought I'd show you the Esplanade. The Esplanade looks like two separate buildings with a very prickly-like ceiling or roof, and it's actually one building that's an opera house. You've got to think about the Australian Opera House there in Sydney Harbor. This is exactly what this is mimicking here. Anyway, enough about architecture. We've been doing that for a while. I want to talk a little bit about the food here that I've had. And to help me out, I've got my associate here in Singapore, Brenda Tan.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, Brenda. Here, I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah.
So let me talk briefly about the food choices I had. You can have everything. I had Starbucks in the morning. I had Burger King at night, and I actually had steak. But I said to the crowd, I said, let's try to do something local here. So we went out to the Chinese restaurant, and I had Peking duck. Ooh, Joe, walk on the wild side, right? Peking duck. Now, really, the reason I want to tell you is how they serve it here. It's very unusual. They roll out a Peking duck, just like you do in America, this brown, beautiful bird, and then they cut the skin, and then they cut the fat around the skin, and they put that skin in little cubes, wrap cucumbers in the little cubes of skin, and then wrap that in dough and give that to you. And then they roll away the duck. So I order this duck, and it gets rolled away, and I'm going, what the heck? I ended up with a big plate of skin with taco shells on it. Anyway, that's how they eat it. So, very unusual. The second food I had was something called Hasma, H-A-S-M-A. And Hasma is a dessert here, and it actually looks like a syrupy Karo syrup, a little bit lighter than that, with cubes of gelatin on it. And in these cubes, it floats in, and they're clear. It's like clear Jell-O. So I had it, and it was pretty good. And I said, what's Hasma besides clear Jell-O and syrup? They said, oh, I'll go look it up. So that night, I went to Google. I wish I wouldn't have. Hasma happens to be the dry, fatty tissue around the fallopian tubes of female frogs. Okay, let me say that again. The dry, fatty tissue around the fallopian tubes of female frogs. I mean, who thought of this? I mean, one day you're sitting around the jungle saying, let's go eat dry, fatty tissue of fallopian, whatever. So anyway, I had it. It wasn't that bad. And probably the best dry, fatty tissue or fallopian tubes of female frogs I've ever had in my life. Hard none. But let me tell you, the real reason I showed you the Opera House and why I'm standing outside and why we're filming myself. The locals call that the Durian. And because there's a fruit that looks just like the Opera House. And the problem with the durian is, I said, let me have it. It's called the grapefruit of Asia, I guess is one nickname, is it smells. Matter of fact, when we came here with the durian fruit, it smelled up the car, something awful. I can't say it smelled like rotten eggs, but pretty close. So I have a durian over here, and I'm going to take my first sample test. Now, I've heard it's a favorite here, but no one who comes to this country likes it. So here goes. I will show you a durian. This is a durian. Looks just like the building over there, and that's where they designed it. And you take it off, and you eat this flesh. Have you ever seen a kind of an unburned baby chick with the flesh on it? That's what this looks like. And by the way, it feels that way. So let me do a... Oh my God, this is awful. Oh, jeez. I really don't want to do this. Anyway, I've got to do it. I committed to the team. I'd taste and tell them what it was like. Okay. This is awful. We've got to cut. I'm going to die. I'm going to die. Cut.